Hello, welcome. From today, we're going to start a new channel, China, China, China. Sounds familiar, right?
China, 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 China.
I'm not going to repeat the country name again and again as Mr. Trump does, but to explore interesting truths and facts about China's history, culture, people, language, and so on. I'm going to share with you as well my personal experiences, what I learned, what I observed, what I heard, and so on. It will be fun. If you like my channel, please subscribe and share. You are also welcome to send me your comments or questions, if any. Thank you very much. For this very first episode today, I would like to talk about some interesting stories of China's country name. China has a very long history, but not this country name itself. It was actually a borrowing from Malay language. The term China first appears in a journal of a Portuguese explorer in 1516. The journal was translated and published in English in 1555. It became well known to public as late as 18th century. How did Europeans call China earlier then?
Let's go back to Roman period. The Silk Road did exist, and the silk fabrics were worn and loved as luxury item by Roman nobles. But the trade was carried out via numerous middlemen in Central Asia and Middle East. There was no direct contact between Roman Empire and the Chinese Han Dynasty. Those middlemen would not be stupid enough to tell Romans where China was located. So the Romans just roughly knew there was a country in the Far East called Serica or Cyrus. It is literally means land of the silk. Cathay, another name for China, became popular in Europe after the publication of the famous Travels of Marco Polo in 14th century. In this book, Marco Polo gives a vivid and detailed accounts of his adventures in many places in present-day China, which is referred to as Cathay in his book. Cathay originated from Khitan, the name of a nomadic people who founded the Liao dynasty, which ruled pretty much of today's northern China for 200 years from early 10th century. The different peoples living in Central Asia kept the term Cathay for China, despite the fact that the Khitan Empire had actually disappeared. Even today, Chinese name in Russian is still pronounced as Kitai. Marco Polo's book inspired European explorers in their discovering expeditions. It is said that Columbus carried only 2 books with him when he traveled at sea. One was Bible, the other was Travels of Marco Polo. When the Portuguese explorers arrived in Malacca in Southeast Asia, local Malay sailors and merchants informed them they traded a lot with a country to the north they called China in their Malay language. So the Portuguese continued to sail north and reach Chinese southern coast and later even established a trading post in Macau, not from present-day Hong Kong. At the beginning, nobody knew if China they discovered and the Cathay Marco Polo had visited was the same country or not. In 1602, the Society of Jesus in India even decided to send an expedition led by Bento de Gois to Cathay by overland Silk Road to find out. It took them 3 years to reach a China western border town in present-day Gansu province. but those miserables were stopped and detained by Chinese border authorities. Matteo Ricci, the missionary who just arrived in Beijing earlier from Macau, learned the news. Then he sent his assistant to travel there to rescue them. At last, finally, they proved that China and Cathay were ultimately the same country, and the capital city of Canbalake that Marco Polo had visited was Beijing. They made Cathay disappear from people's view. No more people try to travel to Cathay anymore, except Cathay Pacific Airways, a Hong Kong-based airline. But the flight attendant will not tell you they fly actually to China, not to Cathay.
Heh. What is Chinese name for China then?
中国. It means, in English, central state.
But China is not in the center of the world though.
Here you are.
Is Zhongguo always a Chinese name for China?
No, it is even newer than the term China in English. 中国 became an official country name in 1912.
What was the country name before then?
No name.
No name?
Throughout history, Chinese emperors called the land they ruled 天下, which means under the heavens. As you can see, they thought they ruled the whole world. What's your name?
Stephen.
Why do you need the name?
So I can have an identity.
There are John, Peter, and many others in your class. You need a name to tell you from the others. But you don't need a name for something which is the only one. Liang Qichao, a famous Chinese scholar in late 19th century, argued, "Our greatest shame is that our country has no name. The names that people ordinarily think of, such as Han, Tang, Song, Ming, are all the titles of the bygone dynasties. But there were still quite a few appellations given in different periods of time. Here are the most well-known ones. Central Plain was where the earliest Chinese civilization emerged. Xia was the tribe which is believed to be the ancestors of the modern Chinese people. Overseas emigrants call their homeland Tang Mountains. That is why Chinatown is Tang Renjie in Chinese. It means Tang People Town. Following the fall of the Qing dynasty, the revolutionaries led by Dr. Sun Yat-sen decided to pick Zhonghua as the formal country name for the newly established republic. Zhonghua is a combined abbreviation of Zhongyuan and Huaxia. Zhonghua Minguo, Republic of China, was further abbreviated as Zhongguo. Zhonghua continued as a country name after the current People's Republic of China was founded in 1949. Thank you for watching. See you next time.